One of my biggest problems is deciding exactly how to start an episode. What are the first few words I have to say? Do I have to think much about it and create a hook? Like, these social media videos, you have the first 3 seconds are most important, and you have to hook the audience. And what's the first thing you have to say? Sometimes in my case, I just talk about what the topic is for the day. Today, I want to talk about XYZ. And other times, I feel like I want to rant, and I will just start speaking. There is something annoying that happens when I'm talking. You see how you can hear my voice, and then I'll say something, and in the middle of my speech, I'll just have this. It has happened twice now, just from the beginning of this podcast until now. I'll be talking, and it seems like my voice ceased for half a second. It pisses me off. I don't even know if people hear it when it happens, but I feel it, and it forces me to clear my throat, and I clear my throat when it happens. I clear it with malice. If this is your first time listening to the Good Living Podcast, you're welcome. I'd encourage you to follow, if this is YouTube Music or it's Spotify for you, whatever you're listening on, follow the podcast, give it a rating, leave a comment or whatever. But I'm pretty sure at this point you don't have a comment because I've not said anything. From the last few episodes, I got responses from people who are new or relatively new to the Good Living Podcast, saying, I like this style of podcasting you're doing. Just, it's a lot of compliments, really. And one guy in particular was like, please, I hope you continue to do it like this moving forward. Now, people who have been here since 2022 know that this is exactly how this podcast was in the beginning. In the beginning, it was just me and my phone lying down on my bed. Most of the time lying down or a couch or something. I'm hardly ever sitting down when I'm recording these things. And then I stopped because obviously I started seeing podcasts spring up, and the way that they seem to go viral or people talk about them is by social media videos, which means I had to be making videos somehow. And then I started making videos, low quality videos on my phone, but made an effort. And from 2022 until 2026, I've been making podcast videos. I don't know if I would say they've gone anywhere, but one thing that is for sure is that my video production has improved, that's the word. My video production has improved. But that was taking a lot of effort, a lot of work and effort and money. Oh my God. All right. But I find this to be one of the easiest, most relaxing ways that I do the podcast. And to be honest, I find this with more fulfilling when I'm the one talking. I set out to record this episode today because of Nigeria. And honestly, this whole topic is a broken up by the way. But there is a problem. People don't seem to be able to connect their financial struggles with their political decisions and choices. I don't know why it's impossible for us to do. But I'm pretty sure in fact, let me just say in 2026, this year, if you have not asked somebody for money, somebody has asked you. And if you're in the social class where that doesn't happen, which I don't know if that is in this world or in this country, but if you're anywhere in the world where this has not happened to you this year, well, glory be to God. I was sitting with my friend in his living room, and I saw him send a voice note to somebody telling them that this money you're about to send to me, please send it to this other account, this other person's account where I won't be able to touch it because this money passes through my hand. I might want to remove 50k from it and do 1 or 2, but I want this money to be intact as it is in bulk. And he just said that, so I understood that he had just received a huge payment. And then shortly after, he played a voice note. And in the voice note was one of his boys telling him that life is really, really tough. He's trying to package. I don't know where that one is or what he's doing for a living, but he's here trying to package his life. And his mom just called him yesterday crying. The place that she's staying, or the toilet that they use, the toilet part of the house, rain fell, heavy rain, and the toilet sunk. That room and that area of the house kind of sunk because the ground was muddy. And so everyone called in and was crying and said, the house is slanted. One side of the house now the house is the globe side. It's just, if another rain comes, it's probably going to split the house away. I don't know what kind of place is living in, but the poverty in this country is peak. Anyway, and so he told my friend this story of like his mom was crying and him. I lost my mom in 2006. I honestly don't know the feeling. I honestly don't know the feeling of having your mother cry to you to solve a problem for her. But I know it must be devastating, especially when you cannot help. And I could feel the pain in that guy's voice. I knew it was hurting him because he couldn't help, and that's why he had to ask. They need external help to get her stabilized because a house is one of the most important fundamental human needs. Shelter, where to put your head. So that situation is a tough one, and it touched me. And the thing with Nigerians is, this is all evidence of hardship. And everybody knows that the economy is bad, and the country is hard, and money is difficult to come by. This is all common knowledge. And there is this fat, big rod that links this directly to the people in government, directly to our decisions around politics. But there is a disconnect where the Nigerian citizen would not really think about the government when we think about work. The moment I'm not able to afford something, or I see something, or I see a situation in life in this country that shouldn't be so, the first thing I think about is the government. Whatever it is, be it I see people fetching water outside, like far away, to go and fill up a drum in their house so that they can have water in their house. When I think about that, that is happening in 2026. And in a country like Ghana, there is no such thing. Every day is water running everywhere inside every property. Yes, there is water running everywhere inside every property. In Ghana, there is no, let's go and fill it to fresh water. Meanwhile, in our country, more than half of the population has to go outside their house to go and fetch water. And we are not linking it. But if you were well, you might say you're linking it because a lot of people are linking it. It cannot be just me. But if you're linking it, then what are we now doing? God, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I don't have, you know what, this is going to go say what's on my mind. Why am I even trying to think about? I'm trying to walk on eggshells on whoever's feelings is. For example, you feel like you're doing something and then I'm sounding like I'm saying the exact same thing everybody is saying. And that's not what I'm doing. It is the link. If somebody lacks money or lacks something or complains about the economy or poverty or money or whatever, they should be reminded, first of all, that the reason that you are in this issue now, say for example, you go to the hospital, you cannot find what, anti-venom, anti-snake, whatever. Or you cannot, whatever Nigeria does to you or somebody close to you, once it has been vocalized, please vocalize it back. That the reason it is happening is because of your political decisions. If you are sitting on the fence, somebody will decide it for you. Somebody will make your political decision for you. And if they make a political decision for you, they are making it to benefit them. And these people are not your next door neighbors that are voting when you decide to stay at home. No. It is the ones who have a long-term plan for your country. Tinubu was president and governor of Lagos State in 2006. He is president today. He had a long-term plan for you. Your own long-term plan, like Ijapa, good on you. Because I'm not one of those people that will say you should stay and fight for your country. The country is going, it's just like that woman's toilet. It's sinking. It's sinking. I thought about this thing of life expectancy. Why is our life expectancy in this country 55? I think for women it's 57. Which means me at 28. Me at 28 is midlife that is this. And then I will. So why is that the case? I will outline a few experiences that I've had that prove to me glaringly why this is the case. One, danfo. I don't know if in Lagos they call it. I don't know which one is danfo. Maybe it's the small one that the danfo. In fact, maybe danfo is early 2000s slang. Because since I came to Lagos, I've hardly heard anybody say danfo. It's Korokwe, I know. But you see those buses. There are these buses, You see, if you're not in Lagos or familiar with it, I'm going to describe this deep bus for you. That has 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and then the driver's row. That's the size of the bus. I think it's a 14-seater. Old model buses. They carry 4 people per row. And 2 people in front with the driver. These buses are so tightly packed. So tightly packed that sometimes if you are sitting in these buses and you are sitting at the edge, you would have to bend your head, bend your neck as the bus is moving, because there is nowhere for you to, you cannot sit straight with your shoulders and back on the chair and your head straight. So it's either, if you want your head to be straight, you push forward so that somebody else will rest their back, and then when you push forward, you can straighten your neck and you can look straight. But if you decide that you are going to rest your back while sitting at that edge, you have to bend your head, because the way the bus is bent at the top, the way it's designed, your head will be, maybe short people don't have this problem, but when I sat in that bus, in that corner, I had to bend my head for the entirety of the trip, and I was looking around me, everywhere was tight, like tight, While I could get luggage, because if you have a backpack or luggage, and you want to see it's just going to be, you will just be like this soap. There's this soap when I was very young, this old soda. Like, it's bar soap basically. I don't know if you guys remember green bar soap. Imagine a green bar soap that was cut into a square. So that would be you. You would be molded, your luggage will be molded into a square. And then there's like 14 of you or 20. I can't remember the number now, it's unimportant. But that's what you'll be like. And then I think to myself while I'm in this bus, if something happens, I will be getting into an accident while we are in this bus. Everybody will die. There is not a single person that is going to survive, because the way you are stuck in a way that you cannot move. And then all around you is metal, is ions. And so if something happens to this bus and it goes tumbling, the wreckage will stab the living shit out of you. And if it doesn't, and you survive the crash, you will be suffocated with people's meat that was torn from what the wreckage has got to be, or their blood, or the smell of hot human meat. You will suffocate and die. So imagine you are taking that risk every day. In fact, I took that journey from Ajaola Bridge to Yellow Road, and that was like a 30-minute journey. I took that trip. If that is your commute back from work or to work every day, that is the risk you are taking on your life. You think you will do that in every single day of the reach 55? You'll be lucky as hell for you not to enter one accident. If you don't change your life before then and not have to do that, you'll be lucky for you to go through that. 30 years and nothing happens to you. But that's the country we live in. Election is coming next year. Oh God, I just saw something. Most of the people who listen to the video and podcast, you guys are learned, you are woke. Well, not woke in the US sense, so you are enlightened. And so there is nothing about this government's wreckage that you don't already know. Recently, I saw a video and they said this has been trending on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, but if you people are, maybe this will not be news to you. Since 2015, the money allocated in the budget of this country for our healthcare sector has been increasing. For example, in 2015, say they allocated 30 billion. In 2016, they allocated 60. In 2017, they allocated 80. The money that was disbursed is always a percentage of what was allocated. So in 2015, if they allocated 30 billion, they always allocate something like 60% of that 30 billion. I mean, they allocated something like 60% of that 30 billion, which is about 17 billion that they actually disbursed to the Ministry of Health to take care of all the health needs of all the general hospitals, federal medical centers, small clinics, and community whatever healthcare centers. 60% of what was allocated in the budget is what they disbursed. But every year after that, the percentage of allocation reduced. And so, in 2025, over 400 billion was allocated. In 2025, what was disbursed was 36 million. It was 60% that they disbursed in 2015. 10 years later, they disbursed 0 point something percent. That gap, all that extra billions, there is factual proof that it was allocated in the budget. So that money left the treasury, but it did not reach the ministry. So in 2025, government hospitals all around the 36 states of this country, they're supposed to share 36 million naira. You listen to this, what is your net worth? And you say you want to now come and collect tax. Tax. So I find my way in this hellhole of a country, and I make money from business. I learn a skill, and I learned it, and now I'm earning money. And thankfully, business is good. You, the government, this gap is only for the healthcare. Every other institution has a gap. It's just that nobody has compiled it. Now you want to say that you collect that money from me, part of it. I don't understand what will have to happen in this country for there to be proper anarchy. For everybody to say, well, it's okay, we're not doing it, let's scatter everything. Let's scatter everything. Because the masses are much more than the elites. If you come out in numbers, they will be scared. We did it in 2020. They were scared. And they opened fire. I feel like this one is a really different story. But the key, if you don't leave, statistics show that only 2% of Nigerians have crossed its borders. We are nearly, I don't know, see that 250 million they say we are in this country is a lie. In this Lagos, not in Lagos right now, in Lagos, there are probably 50 million people. There are probably 50 million people in Lagos. So we cannot be 250 in the entire country. We are at least 350 million in the entire country. And you are saying out of 350 million people, only 2% have left ever, even if it's once, left the shores of this nation to see with their eye what is happening outside. To have living proof that Nigeria is not behaving like a country that is part of the globe. That this place is more like a zoo than a republic. Guys, remember, like Nah, yeah, just do whatever. But try to make sure that in this country you are safe and you are angry. Stay angry. Stay upset. Stay vengeful. Stay vengeful. I love you.